UK drivers, stop scrolling. In the next 30 days, thousands of people will be fined $300, not because they broke the law on purpose, but because of one thing they didn't know existed. If you drive in the UK, this video could literally save you money. There's a March deadline most UK drivers have never been told about. Miss it, and the fine can hit $300 instantly. No letter, no warning, no second chance. Stay with me, because one small check at the end of this video could protect you. This urgent warning circulating across UK social media and news platforms is drawing attention to a critical deadline that many British drivers might not be aware of, and the consequences of missing it could hit wallets hard with penalties reaching £300. The message is designed to create a sense of urgency and concern among motorists, prompting them to take immediate action before the March deadline arrives. Let me break down what this alert is likely referring to and provide you with a complete understanding of the situation facing UK drivers right now. The most probable subject of this warning relates to vehicle tax regulations and the driver and vehicle licensing agency requirements that govern all motorists in the United Kingdom. Every year, millions of drivers must ensure their vehicle documentation remains current and compliant with government regulations, and failing to do so can result in substantial financial penalties. The £300 fine mentioned in this alert is not an arbitrary number, but reflects the actual penalty structure established by the DVLA and UK law enforcement for various vehicle-related compliance failures. What makes this particularly concerning for drivers is that many of these requirements operate on automatic renewal systems or require proactive updates from vehicle owners, meaning that simply forgetting or being unaware of the deadline can result in immediate non-compliance. The March deadline mentioned in the alert typically corresponds to one of several important dates in the UK motoring calendar. For many drivers, this could relate to vehicle tax renewal, which operates on a system where your payment is due based on when you first registered your vehicle or last renewed your tax. The UK abolished the paper tax disc system back in October 2014, which means there is no longer a visible reminder on your windscreen showing when your vehicle tax expires. This digital transformation was intended to modernize the system and reduce administrative burden, but it has also created a situation where drivers can easily lose track of when their tax is due for renewal. Without that physical disc as a visual reminder, the responsibility falls entirely on the vehicle owner to remember their renewal date and take action before it lapses. When your vehicle tax expires, you are immediately breaking the law if you continue to drive or even park your vehicle on public roads. The DVLA operates an extensive automatic number plate recognition system combined with a comprehensive database that can instantly identify untaxed vehicles. Enforcement is no longer reliant on traffic wardens physically checking tax discs, which means detection is almost instantaneous once your tax expires. The initial penalty for driving without valid vehicle tax is typically £80 if paid within a certain time frame, but this can escalate to significantly higher amounts if ignored or contested. However, the £300 fine mentioned in the alert more likely refers to the fixed penalty notice that can be issued for more serious or repeated offenses, or potentially for the related offense of not updating your vehicle registration details. Another critical aspect that this warning might address is the requirement to update your address details with the DVLA whenever you move residence. This is a legal obligation that many drivers overlook, particularly in the chaos of relocating to a new home. UK law requires that you inform the DVLA of your new address within a specific time frame, and failure to do so is actually a criminal offense that can result in a fine of up to £1,000 in the most serious cases. The £300 figure mentioned in the alert could represent a typical enforcement penalty for this violation. The reason this becomes particularly relevant around the March timeframe is that many people move house during the spring months, and if they moved earlier in the year or late in the previous year, they might be approaching or exceeding the deadline for updating their records. The connection between address updates and vehicle tax becomes even more critical when you consider that all renewal reminders from the DVLA are sent to the registered address they have on file. If you have moved house and failed to update your details, you will not receive these crucial reminders about your vehicle tax renewal, MOT test due date, or any other important correspondence from the DVLA. This creates a cascade effect where one oversight leads to multiple compliance failures. You might miss your vehicle tax renewal because the reminder went to your old address, and then find yourself facing penalties, not just for the untaxed vehicle, but also potentially for the failure to update your address in the first place. The MOT test requirement represents another dimension of this compliance landscape that could be connected to the March deadline warning. Every vehicle in the UK that is more than 3 years old must undergo an annual MOT test to ensure it meets minimum safety and environmental standards. The anniversary of your MOT test might fall in March, and driving without a valid MOT certificate carries its own set of penalties. While the direct fine for driving without an MOT might start at lower amounts, if you are involved in an accident or stopped by police while driving without a valid MOT, the consequences can be severe. Insurance companies can refuse to pay out claims if your vehicle did not have a valid MOT at the time of an incident, potentially leaving you liable for significant costs. The £300 figure could represent a composite penalty or the escalated fine that applies in certain circumstances related to MOT failures. Vehicle insurance represents yet another critical requirement that operates on annual renewal cycles, and for many drivers, their insurance policy anniversary might fall in March. Driving without valid insurance is one of the most serious motoring offenses in the UK, carrying penalties that extend far beyond simple fines. The minimum penalty for driving without insurance is a fixed penalty notice of £300 and 6 penalty points on your license, which aligns perfectly with the figure mentioned in this alert. However, if the case goes to court, you could face unlimited fines, disqualification from driving, and in serious cases, your vehicle could be seized and destroyed. The police use the same automatic number plate recognition technology to identify uninsured vehicles as they do for untaxed ones, making detection extremely likely if you drive without valid cover. The March deadline could also be significant because it falls at the end of the tax year in the UK, which runs from April to April. Many insurance companies and financial service providers use this period to implement premium increases, policy changes, and administrative updates. Drivers who have their insurance set to automatically renew might find that their premiums have increased significantly, and if their payment method fails or they have insufficient funds, their policy could lapse without them realizing it. Even a single day without insurance coverage is illegal and can trigger the penalties mentioned in the alert. Furthermore, if your insurance lapses and you later try to obtain new coverage, you will likely face significantly higher premiums because insurance companies view any gap in coverage as a major risk factor. The integration of these various requirements creates a complex web of obligations that drivers must navigate, and the digital nature of modern vehicle administration means that there are fewer physical reminders and more reliance on email notifications, text messages, and letters sent to your registered address. If you have changed your email address, phone number, or residential address without updating the relevant organizations, you might miss critical renewal reminders across all these different areas. This is particularly problematic for younger drivers who move frequently for work or education, or for people going through major life changes such as divorce, bereavement, or financial difficulties that might cause correspondence to be overlooked. The enforcement mechanisms for these regulations have become increasingly sophisticated and automated in recent years. The DVLA and police forces across the UK share access to comprehensive databases that can cross-reference vehicle registration details, tax status, insurance coverage, and MOT test results in real time. When automatic number plate recognition cameras scan vehicles on roads, car parks, or even residential streets, the system can instantly flag any vehicle that has compliance issues. This means that driving an untaxed, uninsured, or un-MOT tested vehicle is no longer a gamble with odds in your favor, but rather an almost certain path to detection and penalty. The financial implications of these fines extend beyond the immediate penalty payment. Points on your driving license resulting from insurance violations or other serious offenses can lead to dramatically increased insurance premiums for several years afterward. Insurance companies assess risk based on your driving record, and any penalty points signal that you are a higher risk driver. This can increase your annual insurance costs by hundreds or even thousands of pounds depending on your circumstances and the number of points on your license. For drivers who accumulate 12 or more penalty points within a 3-year period, a driving ban becomes mandatory under the totting up procedure, which could have devastating consequences for your employment and personal life if you rely on your vehicle for work or family responsibilities. The warning message uses urgent language and an emoji to grab attention, which is a common tactic in public awareness campaigns, but also in clickbait content designed to drive traffic to websites. While the core message about the importance of maintaining vehicle compliance is legitimate and important, the specific framing might be designed to create anxiety that prompts immediate clicks rather than thoughtful action. Regardless of the motivations behind the specific alert, the underlying message contains important truth that all UK drivers should heed. Ensuring your vehicle tax, insurance, MOT, and registration details are current and correct is not optional, but a fundamental legal requirement of vehicle ownership and operation in the United Kingdom. For drivers who are uncertain about their current compliance status, there are straightforward ways to check each requirement. The government website provides a free service where you can check your vehicle tax status, MOT history, and other details using just your vehicle registration number. For insurance verification, you should have received policy documents from your insurer, and you can also contact them directly to confirm your coverage dates. Checking these details takes only a few minutes, but can save you from substantial fines, legal complications, and the stress of enforcement action. Setting calendar reminders for a month before each renewal date gives you adequate time to arrange payment, shop around for better deals, or address any issues that might arise during the renewal process. The broader context of this alert reflects the ongoing challenge of maintaining public awareness about regulatory requirements in an increasingly digital world, where physical reminders have been replaced by electronic communications that are easier to miss or ignore. While the digitalization of vehicle administration has brought benefits in terms of convenience and efficiency for many drivers, it has also created new vulnerabilities for those who are less digitally connected or who simply find it harder to keep track of electronic notifications amid the constant flood of emails and messages that characterize modern life. The government and motoring organizations continue to grapple with how to effectively communicate these important deadlines to ensure compliance without overwhelming people with bureaucratic demands. Understanding these requirements and deadlines is ultimately an essential part of responsible vehicle ownership in the UK. The £300 fine mentioned in the alert is not designed to be a revenue generation tool, but rather an enforcement mechanism to ensure that all vehicles on UK roads are properly registered, taxed, insured, and maintained to safety standards. These requirements exist to protect all road users, ensure fair contribution to road infrastructure funding, and maintain standards that keep our roads as safe as possible. While the penalties might seem harsh, they reflect the seriousness with which the law treats these obligations and the importance of universal compliance to the functioning of the UK transport system. UK drivers, stop scrolling. In the next 30 days, thousands of people will be fined $300, not because they broke the law on purpose, but because of one thing they didn't know existed. If you drive in the UK, this video could literally save you money. There's a March deadline most UK drivers have never been told about. Miss it, and the fine can hit $300 instantly. No letter, no warning, no second chance. Stay with me, because one small check at the end of this video could protect you.